I know you've all been very patient. And this event to me is very near and dear to my heart because we have amazing people on the stage who you're going to get to know. But I hope you all had a chance to experience today's art show. And this is the first time we've ever done anything like this. You know, our organization is 6 years young. But unfortunately, we exist, but unfortunately, we're a very well-kept secret. And I think working with Sharon Class, who curated the art show, because that was perfect timing. I appreciate all the wonderful artists that you brought here to us today. And I think that it really helps get our name out in the world also. We've never done anything like this before, and I think it's good for everybody to come out and socialize and share creativity and talk and get together and eat some nice food. So I'm glad that you're all here. And I want to thank Rick Paul, who did the slideshow that you're looking at now, of the 21 artists from the Piermont Fine Arts Gallery. So I think Rick is not in the room right now. He's coming in. I want to thank him. And I also want to thank Bonnie Kaplan, who's been filming our event today. So thank you for all of you. And we would not be here without our wonderful, faithful sponsors, Abby, Jessica Feldman, who appreciates the work we do, Jordan Leitner from SUFFERN, and Scott Sam Siegel from Acadia, who we might hear from later on. Actually, he has a very interesting story. So we want to thank him for the support. And also SUFFERN helped us with our farm at the Clover Stadium. We have a small farm there. And we have a path to a cure at the Garden Hope. And those are the first that you saw that we are selling as a fundraiser, and that you can pray on your sayings and it is there. So we hope that you'll be able to support us in that way. Now, we are the Parkinson's Wellness Project. We're a non-profit organization in our 6th year, as I said. And we are dedicated to promoting awareness, education, and social interactions with people with Parkinson's disease and their families. We want to break the barriers of isolation, and we want to help individuals develop positive coping skills by overcoming physical, mental, and emotional challenges. And we're empowering the community to take active responsibility for their health, and we want to empower you to join us on this journey. So we have something, we run a workout program, the Parkinson's Wellness Project workout program. And we've been doing it for many years. We met our Rock City boxing coach, who is very near and dear to our hearts, a very special coach like none others. And I asked him to come here today because we had a plan a while back to recognize Yuri, Coach Yuri, but it didn't work out. And I asked you to come here tonight so I could honor you and let you know that all your students who are at this event on April 30th to come and give you this special award. So come up here and thank you. It's not late, but it's really big on you. So come here. It says, Yuri Milstein, our champion coach. And that's what he certainly is. And everybody knows. And we have a lot of students out here we don't miss tonight, right?
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. not students, fighters.
Fight one.
But it's all about fighting. Um, Now, you guys doing the work. I just give you the ideas, but it's up to you. And think and take that with you to everything you do. You're doing the work. Don't be shy to the work. Just get the ideas, and I'm grateful to you, and you're an inspiration to me to see how hard you're putting in and the effort you're putting in, and working together. And I also see you helping each other out, like in a lot of my classes, to help each other out as well. And that's what it's about. That's a community. All right. I always said no professional fighter goes to the ring by themselves. Every professional fighter has a team, a coach, a training partner, sparring partner, and that's our family. That's our staffing, our education, our medical team. All right, we're all together, so no one should feel like they're by themselves. And share what you learn, share what you do with us, share what you do with us, share what education you pick up here with others, because I'm sure there's many other people also that are affected that can benefit from what you do. You're the inspiration. All right, and your inspiration to me too. Thank you so much.
Okay, today's event was inspired by a friend who wrote me a letter. And I want to share that letter with you. I'm not mentioning any names. When I was diagnosed with Parkinson's, the world felt like it tilted. Suddenly, my body wasn't as reliable, and the future seemed foggy. But in that fog, I found something powerful: the need for meaning. Viktor Frankl, a Holocaust survivor, wrote in Man's Search for Meaning that life's purpose isn't found in what happens to us, but in how we respond. That hit me hard. Parkinson's forced me to confront what truly matters. Frankl said suffering can be a crucible for growth if we find purpose in it. For me, that meant repurposing myself. I couldn't control the tremors, but I could choose how to live with them. I shifted from defining myself by what I did, my job, my routines, to who I am: a father, a friend, someone who still has something to give. Repurposing isn't about erasing the old you. It's about redirecting your strengths. Frankel believed meaning comes from three paths: creating something, connecting with others, and facing suffering with courage. I found purpose in small acts: sharing my story to support others, volunteering in my community, even just listening to a friend. These things don't cure Parkinson's, but they give me a reason to keep going. Frankel also said, "What is to give light must endure burning." Parkinson's is my burning, but it's also my light. It's taught me to savor moments like laughing with my kids or feeling the sun on my face. Repurposing myself means embracing what I can still do, not mourning what I can't. So my challenge to you: find your meaning no matter what life throws at you. It's not in perfection, but in purpose. Whether through love, service, or sheer grit, you have the power to reframe your story. I'm still writing mine, and I hope you'll keep writing yours too. Thank you. When I got this letter, I felt that we all need our purpose, our meaning in life. And we gathered this wonderful group of panelists and this wonderful doctor, Dr. Harold Shaw, and our wonderful coach, wellness coach, Alyssa Menasha. And now I'd like to introduce you to Dr. Shaw. She is an assistant professor of neurology at Columbia University Medical Center and the medical director of the Parkinson's Foundation Center of Excellence. Dr. Shaw completed her undergraduate at MIT and her medical doctorate at Indiana University. Dr. Shaw completed her neurology residency at Columbia and serving as chief resident in her final year. She spent a year at the World Health Organization in Geneva, working in the Department of Mental Health and Substance Abuse on public health aspects of neurological illnesses. She's been a global mental health scholar, served as a coordinator for the World Health Organization. Dr. Shaw is most interested in learning how to overcome barriers of stigma and discrimination to improve care access for vulnerable individuals who suffer from mental health conditions. We are so grateful for you to be with us today, Dr. Shaw. Please. Can you hear me okay? Yeah. Is that all right? Yeah. Well, thank you, Susan, for this really kind invitation, and good evening, everyone. It's an honor to be here with you today among so many brave, wise, passionate individuals, people who know in their bones that what it means to face uncertainty every day and yet keep showing up. Whether you're living with Parkinson's, caring for someone who is, or part of our larger community, your presence here today reflects something powerful, the human desire to find meaning, even in the midst of struggle. I have to admit, when Susan first asked me to speak on today's topic, I asked her, are you sure I'm the right person for the job? This is not a topic I've previously spoken about, written about, yet I do recognize that the spirit of finding meaning and purpose underscores my approach to my patients as well as my life. In the words of the coach, I think he stole some of my lines, but that you all are the true heroes and experts. And I'm here simply to provide some ideas, some introductory remarks to perhaps spark conversation. Following my remarks, we'll have a wonderful panel who are going to share the stage and share their perspectives on how they find meaning and purpose in their lives. So with that, I'd like to start by sharing the words of poet David White, who once wrote, "The antidote to exhaustion is not necessarily rest. The antidote to exhaustion is wholeheartedness. What do I care about most in my vocation, in my family life, in my heart, and my mind?" This is the conversation that we all must have with ourselves at every stage of our life. It's often a conversation that we don't want to have. We will get to it, we say, when the kids are grown, when there's enough money in the bank, when we're retired, perhaps when we're dead, it will be easier then. But we need to ask it now. What can I be wholehearted about now? So today I want to talk about wholeheartedness, how we can live with Parkinson's, not as isolated individuals trying to survive, but as whole individuals and living in community, striving to find meaning together. As we consider what it is to find meaning, we need to consider the importance of considering one's strengths, one's joys, one's goals, outside of the medical context. So I hope today we will have a shared discussion of opportunities for joy, meaning, love, growth, so that we can better understand and celebrate and support the fuel humanity of oneself. Let's begin with something that we often hesitate to name: loss. For many, living with Parkinson's, one of the most painful parts isn't just the tremors, the stiffness, the fatigue, but it's the gradual erosion of one's identity. You might have been a teacher, an artist, a caregiver, a leader, and it's critical to remember you are still those things. But Parkinson's has a way of rewriting how the world sees you, or maybe even how you see yourself. One person living with Parkinson's described it like this: "It's not just my body that's slowing down. It's like the person I used to be is fading, and I don't know who's left behind." That's a profound grief, and it deserves to be honored, not brushed aside with toxic positivity, but acknowledged with compassion. Identity loss is real, but it's not the end of the story. I think it invites a shifting of perspective, or reframing, as Susan just said, an invitation to add focus and emphasis on one's priorities, strengths, and identities. So perhaps I can't create art in the same way, but I'm still an artist. I may not be able to teach in a classroom, but I still have valuable lessons to share and impart to others. I may not participate in athletic endeavors, but I still have strength and grit. So I can still inspire, lead, and listen to others in their journeys with whatever challenges come our way. And I want to reflect back to what the coach said, that you all are here today, and that takes a certain amount of strength and determination. There are many that are not here that could fill all the seats in this room. And so by showing them your determination, we can inspire others to act in the same way. So don't forget that as you live out in the community. There's a moment that comes, sometimes slowly, sometimes like a wave, when we realize Parkinson's isn't going away. That moment calls for radical shift of acceptance. Now, acceptance is not resignation, it's not giving up, it's quite the opposite. It's saying, this is my life, and I will live it with, and I will live it with as much grace, humor, and depth as I can muster. The great Buddhist teacher Pema Chodron writes, "You are the sky, everything else, it's just the weather." So Parkinson's is the weather, sometimes stormy, sometimes clear, but who you are, that deep, enduring self, that sky, that is always ever present. Acceptance allows us to begin again, to reframe, to meet ourselves where we are, to say, I may move differently, speak differently, need more help than I used to, but I am still me. And I am still worthy of joy, connection, and meaning. I'm worthy of acceptance for the family, as well as acceptance for the family and community. The family and caregivers, we may want to push, encourage our loved ones to exercise, to do more, be positive. And we also have to accept our loved ones for who they are in the moment. Acceptance of the as is, which does not mean we have no expectations, but yet we start by meeting the person where they are. And that brings me to the heart of my talk, that we are not meant to do this alone and in isolation. One of the cruelest tricks of chronic illness is isolation. It makes us feel like no one understands, our struggles are burdens too heavy to share. But when we reach out, when we lean into community, something miraculous happens. Our spirits lift. And I've seen this over and over again, whether in support groups, dance classes for people with Parkinson's, in storytelling circles, in intergenerational programs where youth learn from elders and vice versa. When we gather in community, we say to each other, you're not alone. Your story matters. And even if I can't fix what hurts, I can sit beside you with it. So what might we ask ourselves or others on this journey to encourage this type of perspective, to provide some hope? I was once instructed to ask those that have a why to live can bear with almost any how. So by reflecting on each of our whys, we can find strength and encouragement to continue to move forward. Viktor Frankl wrote, when we are no longer able to change a situation, we are challenged to change ourselves. And that is not an easy task to try to achieve. But we might ask ourselves to consider the following. What is most important to you at this time in your life? How would you like to grow? What gifts would you like to impart to those that you love? What parts of you can this illness never touch? So how do we find meaning together? Fred Rogers once stated, all of us at some time or another need help. Whether we're giving or receiving help, each of us has something valuable to bring to the world. That's one of the things that connects us as neighbors. In our own way, each one of us is a giver and a receiver. So we start by listening to each other's stories, to the wisdom in our bodies, to the rhymes of a slower, more intentional life. We make space for joy, not despite Parkinson's, but within it. We celebrate small victories. We laugh at the absurdities. We cry when we need to. We build new rituals, new ways of belonging, a weekly walk, a poetry circle, a shared meal, a moment of stillness. We remind each other over and over, as Margaret Feinberg stated, joy is a weapon we use to fight life's battles. So, and as we uplift one another, not with pity, but with respect, we find other benefits. So Dr. Benzie Kluger of University of Rochester did a study of 210 individuals living with Parkinson's. And he asked them, what are the 3 things that most determine your quality of life? And over half of the responses were positive, and they were family, activities, and one's spiritual life. So I would invite you to consider, what one thing might you do tomorrow that would bring you some pleasure or meaning? Whether it's something small or big, such as watching a TV show you like, sitting outside for 15 minutes, or talking to your grandchildren on the phone, that's a start. And the goal is to focus on any positivity in the here and now. Then make concrete plans to create enjoyable routines and give yourself permission to enjoy life openly. Dr. Kluger referred to several dimensions of joy in his paper called The Total Joy of Living. These dimensions included the physical dimension, meaning the physical pleasure we find with food, touch, or comfort, perhaps by taking a walk in nature. The cognitive dimension of finding pleasure in finding meaning through learning, living one's truth, or engaging in art or music. A third dimension of social connection, whether through love, kindness, giving within the family or social networks. A fourth dimension, the emotional dimension of feeling happiness, joy, humor, contentment. The fifth dimension being, or I might miscount, the sixth could be the spiritual dimension of awe, mindfulness, letting go, leaning into one's spirituality. These focuses on positivity of these 6 dimensions were thought to have several effects. The positive affect one experiences reduces pain and elevates one's pain thresholds to tolerate pain. Positivity framed interventions improved motivation to engage in healthy behaviors like healthy eating and exercise. Interventions incorporating positive affect were shown to reduce rates of depression, and positive affect was associated with other positive physiological effects, including reduced inflammation, neuroendocrine impacts, and cardiovascular system impacts. So to live with Parkinson's is to live in the in-between, between control and surrender, strength and fragility, mourning and meaning. But we are never alone in that space. Together, we can create a world where no one has to face Parkinson's in silence, where dignity and joy are possible, and where identity is not lost, but rather reimagined. As the late John Donahue said in his blessing for a new beginning, awaken your spirit to adventure. Hold nothing back. Learn to find ease and risk. Soon you will be home in a new rhythm, For your soul senses the world awaits you. So let's step together in that new rhythm together. Thank you. Thanks, Dr. Schmidt. So this is my favorite event I ever did because it's connecting to ourselves. I mean, we have to learn a lot of things about medications and different techniques to help ourselves, but this is really hits home about what we can do ourselves. And I think that you'll be inspired by this panel. And I want to introduce you to Dr. Alyssa Menasha because she's going to join Dr. Shaw in interviewing our panel. She is a registered nurse, a certified holistic nurse, a whole health educator, and a patient advocate and health coach. Alyssa has been passionate about health, vitality, and personal development and has independently studied various modalities, a long list, and very knowledgeable. And she's into a lot of healthy things, juicing, gardening, good food. And she runs the art of science and healing. And I'm very glad that she's with us today. She also has been our Women's Care Partner Support Group leader. So I'd like to go and meet Alyssa and enjoy our wonderful time. So much, Susan.
You want to count?
No, no, it's all, nobody's coming up there
Okay.
to move the camera. We're just getting this, you all on Zoom. That's what we're moving for everybody at home. Look at that, that's great. Thank you so much, Susan. Yeah, right. That's so cool. Yeah. Thank you so much, Susan. So we are going to start the piano class this morning. Okay. So we're just opening up to everybody up here. Just speak into the mic so we hear you. Okay. What changes have you embraced that have improved your quality of life? Introduce me. Oh, yes. Well, first, actually, the first thing is introductions for everyone up here. So pass the mics around. Yeah.
My name is David. I was diagnosed with Parkinson's 7 years ago. And I had numerous people who have only brought positivity to my life. I'm Phil Schneider, and I spend my work life helping people express themselves as speech pathologists, working on their voice and articulation. And, first, I learned about it as a scientist and as a clinician. Now, as someone who has to fight to get my own voice and speech going. And from the point of view of something positive, I have now a good excuse to spend more time playing and exercising.
My name is Betty Willens. And I'm a mom of two amazing kids. I was a special ed teacher back in the day and an educational diagnostician, and then with my Parkinson's diagnosis 10 years ago, I became a yoga teacher because of that woman's crazy idea that I could, which was something I never imagined. So I'm a yoga teacher, and for people with Parkinson's particularly, but not just Parkinson's, because a lot of people need accessible yoga. And I Zoom so that people can access it from home as well. Lots of modifications. And I also, because of my wonderful Jim Evers, his belief in me to start a breath work class, incorporate that as a whole separate entity to yoga, because it really is so important. And now
Hello, I'm Pamela Quinn, and I've had PD for 30 years. And I, after I was diagnosed, I was very interested in finding non-chemical ways to treat my Parkinson's, mainly because I was at a second child, and there wasn't any literature about pregnancy and Parkinson's. So I had to deal with it without wanting to take the drugs. And I found things that worked for me. They were later called cues. But I wondered if they worked for me, would they work for other people? Or is it just working for me because I'm a dancer, I'm a professional dancer? And so I started a class called PD Movement Lab. And I found out these things did work for other people. And I'm still teaching that class. I also choreograph and I write, and what else? I'm a mom to two boys, and I'm open to any questions at all. I mean, I've had it for so long, I know quite a bit about it, and I'm happy to answer anything that someone is wondering about.
And my name is Alan Colson. I've had Parkinson's now for 3 years, and oddly enough, I'm the entertainment lead. Thank you very much. I use drumming as a way to connect body parts and rhythm to helping steer away some of the tremors of Parkinson's. There's nothing scientific about it, or perhaps there is, but that's not what I do. What I do is to bring back the love and the attention of music, having been in bands forever. I got my first drum set when I was 13 years old for my bar mitzvah, and I've been playing it since. It's never been my full-time career job, but it's been a love. But now that I have PD, I find that using the drumsticks on a drum pad and trying to get those sounds crisp and speedy takes a lot of work that I didn't have to work at before. So I'll be happy to take any questions from you about anything, but certainly about how to put drumming back in your life and how to bring up some of the instruments that you used to use in marching bands or pianos and clarinets, and you put them down. Now it's time to pick them up.
Cameron, would you like to do a little demonstration now?
Honestly, can you hear me now? Hello, oh, there we go. Whenever we do sticking with the drums, using the sticks, we try to practice with the rhythms. It is how you use the stick, whether you use your right hand or your left hand, or both hands, whether you use your right foot or left foot. There's a lot of thinking about how that all comes to be. So I'd like to try this. It's called a paradiddle. And it's called a paradiddle because it sounds like a paradiddle. So you don't need sticks, you just do your hands on your knees. But do right, left, right, right, left, right, left, left. Here, let me just do it for a second. Okay, essentially, it's supposed to go neatly. So practice that for a little while and come back.
Should we all do it together? Right, left, right, right. Do you want to lead us? Yes.
What the? So it's
Right.
right, left, left. Right, left, right, left. If you do it like and you put it all together, it sounds like a parallel.
Thank you, Alan. So we're gonna move into some questions. What changes have you embraced that have improved your quality of life? Well, that be one of them.
I exercise almost every day.
I take care of myself more. Fortunately, you know, I get enough sleep, I stress out and I try to give myself more space.
My wife and I, my wife Naomi was here. We try to take walks as much as possible, just get out and be active. And we were introduced to pickleball the other day. And it was suggested that we buy a pickleball racket and a pickleball shirt and pants and sneakers. We didn't do anything. We just said we'd like to see pickleball being played by others. But no, we try to stay as active as possible and stay off the couch even though there's a great television on.
And also more compassion towards people who are have difficulty with something.
I've had the opportunity to work with other people with Parkinson's, take my skills into that domain. And I have something in common with them, so it's a new perspective to be us instead of I thou. And the other thing that was just mentioned is that it has encouraged me to pay more attention to my emotional needs, my physical needs, my sleep needs, and become better about food choices. So in many ways, I'm leading a healthier life now because of Parkinson's.
When I was a child, my father always told us about the value of time. And he said, I don't care what you do with your time, but I care what you do something with it. So if it's important to you to lie on the couch and watch Tom and Jerry cartoons, it's fun. As long as that's what you want to do. And what I'm finding with Parkinson's is that time is a commodity. Where every minute that ticks away is a minute lost if you don't do something that you want to do with that minute. So just think about that. Just think about time and the value of time. And with Parkinson's, we see our time tick away. And we just want to make the best.
I just wanted to be, that's fantastic, and it's so true. I get 2 hours and 45 minutes, and so then until I cycle through my meds and I remedicate, so you never know what's gonna happen when it's and the tremors and all that stuff. So, yeah, my kids and my husband will tell you that when I'm on and when my medication is working, I am flying around, doing everything I can to try to fit it into that little bracket of time. So yeah, every minute does count. Absolutely. There's plenty of time for sitting when the meds don't.
I didn't mean to say we never exercise. I just can't remember what we do exactly. But one of the things we enjoy doing is I'm not sure what it is. I just know whatever it is, we have fun doing it.
Awesome.
I think putting together a daily measurement of something that's positive, free thinking and free will. I mean, we've been married for 55 years, so there aren't many things that we haven't done. We just started to pick up some Parkinson's now, and it's very helpful to have some kind of program attached to it. And I'm really thrilled to be part of this panel.
One thing that has come for me is that, I understood more fully how, helping others is helping me. There's a Chinese proverb that goes, help your brother's boat across and yours will reach the shore. And I didn't know pre how true that was. And I found that that gives me meaning to my life. Working with other people who have TV, and I'm currently experiencing some difficulty with low blood pressure and been blacking out, and my fear is that I'm going to lose my independence, but my real fear is that I'm going to lose my community because I won't be able to go out as much anymore. And those people have become really close to me, and so having this happen makes me realize how much they mean to me.
One of the things I'd like to have you do, adding to parenting, is do right, left, right, left, but also at the same time, do 1, 2, 3, 4 on your right foot. So that becomes a source of independence between what you do with your hands and fingers and what you do with your feet, ankles. And the better you are at that, the better you are to sort of contain yourself into knowing that you have an opportunity to exercise if you're going that way. So it's right, left, left, 1, 2, 3, 4 on your right foot.
At the same time.
All doing at the same time.
Oh, same time.
I also hung up at a bad on stationary device that I did. Back up. This. Wow. Well, I think you all have shared a lot of ways in which you found meaning through learning something new or maybe harnessing your talents to help someone else. And I wanted to ask, you mentioned how important your community is to you. If you could speak to, the importance of your Parkinson's community and network, and maybe how your social life may have changed because of Parkinson's, and how that helps you combat loneliness, if you all could speak to that.
Most of us hide our Parkinson's when we're diagnosed. And there's a wide variety of how people deal with it, but I did it for a long time. It was in 1996. And I was really alone. And I didn't want to tell anybody about it. But at the same time, I had no one to connect to. I would remember the first conference I went to see a white hair in me. And I just didn't know relate to anybody. In subsequent years, once I started to teach people movement for Parkinson's, that's where my community developed. And it means the world to me because it's people who I can have fun with, who I can joke with. Like we used to talk about if you went to a movie, whether it was an 8 for a tremor or a 10 for a tremor, and how scary it was. What was the tremor score on that? And things like that happen that are memorable and fun, and it's just the social connection is really important. I think that I went to a support group at the beginning, and it wasn't right for me at all because there are people who are much further along with the disease, and it wasn't healthy for me to see that, envision that happening to me. So I think support groups are important, but you have to find the right one. And so shop around if you're doing that. And so I think about that.
And if there's one thing that COVID taught us, it's that we, as human beings, we need each other.
Okay, let's see. I'm a big fan of exercise. and proper nutrition. And when you begin to change your way and you live a cleaner life, you attract different people. And I know that going to culinary, I've met a number of wonderful people. Through Susan. Correct.
Over here.
Okay, thank you, because I've met countless wonderful people. And all I can say is thank you, because the expense of friendships has increased immeasurably. And you know, the friends you had 30, 40 years ago, you know, some fall off. But the people with Parkinson's stay with you. Because there's a hardship that you share. But you have to make the decision whether or not it's a hardship or it's a positive thing. And if you look at it as a positive thing, you start going for walks with people. You take classes with people not necessarily like mine, but of like symptoms. And it's been a positive thing for me. Even though you see I'm wrestling with my words. I'm wrestling with my emotions. Tremors. But it all doesn't mean anything because of the relationships that we've established.
So, I had a lot of resistance to being involved in any group that had a label to it, which was related to a disorder or a problem. I didn't want, I tore up my membership card to Sloan Kettering Cancer Center. I was not honored to get a membership card. I didn't want to be part, I worked with a trainer. He thought it would be great idea to start a group for the people he was working with. I went like, that sounds great, but I don't need to spend time in a group doing that. But I do it, and I find it's very fulfilling and very helpful to each of us. So I went from resistance, staying back, to being more involved. And a key player for me has been Sue, because she calls me up, she push-ups and that. Anyone who knows her and connected to her knows that she's not afraid to ask 20 more times until you say yes. And she's increased the meaningfulness in my life because instead of like that, push me to go forward. Hang out more with people, interact more with people. It continues to be more and more fulfilling. So gratitude to Sue for that, to all of you.
It just occurred to me that there's another wrinkle in the paradigm. Unless you have it, because you can't be an expert in paradigm unless you use both hands and both feet. So right now, paradigm lives right, left, right, left, left, with your right foot going 1, 2, 3, 4. Also now to include is your left foot on 1 and 3. So take that home with you, practice, right, left, right, left, left. 1, 2, 3, 4 on the right foot, 1 and 3 on the left foot. Oh, and then wait a minute. You know, while you're doing that, you have to sing. And maybe we can do that.
Where do we see you do this?
Yeah.
Yeah, right.
You know, when you do that, the parallel and the feet and the hands, saying, give my regards to 12th grade. It'll help sort of pull it all together. And you're like a one-man band.
Alan's gonna start teaching classes, so we'll let you know.
There you go. So we're also, we talked about a lot of things that, help. We're gonna talk about the questions about the abstract, because we talked about things that help both positivity, movement being one of them majorly. And, in terms of moving forward, when things feel overwhelming, what things really bring kind of peace and quiet to them?
Well, doing my yoga teacher training, it was really like hard because I had to get over this first step. What am I doing? And then someone did the little heart chakra necklace and it represents the I can. And I still wear it. Every time I think, I'm not sure, I think I can. I can, it's two simple words, but it makes a big difference.
When I have something troubling me, I either put it aside or exercise. That's the distractions, way to deal with it. Or I try to think of something to do for someone. Those are my two go-tos. And I talk about problems. I talk to my husband or my kids about what's in my problems.
I've had the opportunity to see my children and grandchildren take care of me and be mindful of all of the deficiencies that I show. But they're right on the money when they're there, when I need them. And so I had this rare opportunity of looking into the future, who those kids will be. And I'm happy for what I've seen.
Alan, that was beautiful. Thank you. Very special. An activity that really helps me with my overall inner peace, particularly when it's shifting from peace to the dark side. It's being in the woods, in a small stretch of woods, about a 2-mile path, right there where I live in the Bronx, along Hudson River. I had walking sticks, which increased my stability, so I could go faster. Then I added headphones with high energy music, that Irish fiddle music is my favorite. The faster the music level goes, the faster I walk through the woods. And the battery runs out on the headphones. I can't go. Stop. So music, woods, ocean. It's been very valuable, and the sticks allow me to security and an upper body workout posture thing. So that's been extremely helpful for me. I don't know how I got into it, but it's kind of it started to work for me.
I'm going to add to that. I just finished an online course called Gatekeeping, Gaitkeeping. And it's all about preserving the wall, because being able to walk is a key to independence. Once you lose that ability, you're in a different league. And so on this video, you learn about the alignment of walking, the mechanics of walking. You see me walk in different parts of New York City, and you learn, we have a music app that goes with it, where you can set the tempo of your walk, and you can choose the caliber of music you want to listen to. And music is the most powerful thing for me in terms of Parkinson's. It tells you directly how to walk, what the feeling of it is. It makes you happy. It's really an incredible tool. And so if you're interested, you can go online. It's called Gatekeeping. And I think it's what my neurologist thinks that I've done well because of my professional dance background. But I don't think so, because that was a long time ago. The reason I've done well is I've used it every time I go outside. I have my headphones on. And this is down when the iPod was invented, and everybody else was listening to music, and I was using therapy, but no one knew it because you were having headphones on. And I would go everywhere with music, and it extended the length of time my drugs lasted. If I was walking a pickle, sharing music, I'd be fine. And I really feel it reinforced my body movement in a really important way. So, also on this app we made, we have a section for people who have trouble hearing the beat. So that you can find out how to hear a down beat, so you can sync your body to it. Anyway,
What is fantastic? Say it again, what is it, gate, what?
the app goes with beekeeping. It's an extension of the course.
But gate, if it's the email or something, where do you, gatekeeping and?
It's gatekeeping.co.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Here's a little secret, is that I have an earbud. And I'm listening. It's keeping my nervous system nice and smooth, and keeping my nervous system and my mood nice and smooth. So that in the little spaces in between when you think, oh my, sleep. Instead, that's replaced with the beautiful sound.
What kind of music are you listening to?
Heart chakra.
Or
Heart chakra.
microphone?
So like,
No, I'm kidding.
sorry, yeah, so it's beautiful. Well, here,
Okay.
but also gratitude. Gratitude changes the whole system. Changes your nervous system, changes your breath rate. It's really a profound gift as is music. Okay, so
Just to add that, there are a couple of activities that have come into my life that were never there before. Some things that are difficult that I let go that I'm hoping to get back to. I used to like the folk dance a lot, and I started, couldn't keep up with the other people, tripping over myself, felt very socially awkward. I'm ready to get back to it, but the thing that I never expected to be involved with was any kind of martial art that never spoke to me. But I'm involved in boxing as part of my exercise. Literally get stoned doing it. It's like I started to get hot. And seeing the progress over a period of several years, day to day, you don't see it. But I've collected the video clips, and I remember going and not being able to hit the speed there with either arm. Then with my non-affected arm, I started to be able to do it. And I started to be able to do it slowly with my affected arm. And now I can do it with my eyes closed. And while I'm doing it, when I get that rhythm, might be something like that Alan's talking about with the drumming. Because it's a lot about rhythm, you don't need even the visual once you get the beat. And you start to sink into it, all else, it's blocked out of the mind. The same thing with the walking to the music. So any kind of coordinated movement, the drumming, I've never been a drummer, and I couldn't follow and do what you're doing. But the boxing has been great. Again, I'd like to get back to dancing, but the walking sticks kind of get you going too.
The rhythm, whether it's music and boxing and drumming, that's the key thing to latch on to, because it organizes our body and it takes all the askew, all the things that aren't working together, brings it all together, which is what grace is. It's when the whole body works together to achieve.
I encourage everyone who has the opportunity to go to a drum circle. By show of hands, how many have been to the drum circle? Yeah. It's very exciting, it's passionate, sexy, romantic, and very filled with hand drums, where people are banging on the drums and no sticks. And it's just wonderful to be part of that. Even if you don't play the drums, just going out and being part of the crowd, moving to the drums. It's terrific.
See, for me, exercise and then sit down and like, because while I'm exercising, clearing my head and organizing my thoughts, And that allows me to sit there and write up the story. So I think one of the common threads between all of us is exercise, some sort of motion. And that's what Parkinson's tries to deprive us of, is the ability to move. And we're fighting that. So, great job.
I think Pam wants to lead us in an exercise. Do you want me to hold that mic for you?
Yeah, right. Since we're talking about moving and exercise, I thought I'd do them. You can join me. This is an exercise that I developed for facial masking and for a voice that's too quiet. And you have to be willing to be silly and exaggerate. It's all about exaggeration, both with the sound of the words and the emotion that goes with it. So it's an echo exercise. I'm going to say something like, why? I'll point to you. When you say why, I'll say because, and you say because. So we do it like that. And then there'll be a time when you join in with me at the same time. And I'll just do that to let you know. Okay?
Yes.
Good. So we're going to start with the music. Who's going? There's a gentleman. Okay. It's coming.
This is an exercise that you cannot be inhibited in.
Right.
You have to
Yeah,
let yourself go.
absolutely.
That sound is ridiculous as, and nobody will care, okay? So
Thank you for that.
let
Susan.
Pam take you through this and really experience.
You're welcome. You're welcome. Yeah, okay. That's good. What?
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 Read something. What?
What?
That's right.
That's right.
Good job. Good job.
Okay.
Good job. All right. That's right. That's right.
That's right.
That's up. That's down. Down. Good. Hello. Louder. There you go. I don't know. Yes, you do. Don't fool me. I know. I don't. Yeah, good music.
There we go. Okay. Well, one of my questions was gonna be what inspires you, and I thought that was pretty inspirational, so thank you so much.
Yes.
Most of the movement I make up is done to counter the Parkinson's symptom. So I'll have something like this for rigid, or I'll have something like this with big movements for amplitude. And that one, as I mentioned, was for facial masking and articulation. That was the source of that. And also trying to have fun.
That's silly.
What inspires, let me look at my cheat sheet. Well, learning things inspires me, my kids, people around me, my family inspires me. Music inspires me. A lot inspires me, and really, I am so impressed by the Parkinson's community of people. There is not any disorder that has more of a loving, kind, compassionate bunch of people together than Parkinson's. Do you want to speak to what inspires you?
What inspires me? Family inspires me. Going to a park and running across other people. It's very inspirational, because they know what you're dealing with. Many of these people are dealing with the same thing, and you start exercising with them. And it's very inspirational. And to get up in the morning and to be able to see that day and use that day in a positive manner. And don't forget the power of faith. Whatever your beliefs are, just look at the positive side of that belief. Because you can look at faith and say, why did this happen to me? Or you can look at faith and you can say, what a wonderful morning. And I'm happy that I had the opportunity to enjoy this morning, and hopefully the rest of the day will go well. And that's inspirational.
So I think that what you just said, I call it my attitude of gratitude. And my first thing up in the morning, I try to start to think of 20 things that I'm grateful for. Wow, I can see. Woo, amazing. I'm breathing. I got up. I'm standing up. I can think about the fact that it's hard to get my socks on. Or I can think about the fact that 2 years ago I couldn't.
Or that you got your socks on. Or that you actually got your socks.
Thank you. There's so many things that used to just be ordinary that now become like athletic challenges. And I'm not giving up on buttoning the shirt. Yeah, I got it. Took 3 minutes. So the Parkinson's experience inspires me. Challenge makes our lives exciting. And I don't call it a disease or a disorder. And I don't buy into the progressive degenerative, blah, blah, blah. If you want to be progressive degenerative, that's the defining depression. I call it a challenge to put more zest and more energy and focus, determination and victory at every moment. So one of the things that I've noticed that I think is not put out there enough is that things keep changing. It's not a linear ride. There are months or weeks or days when my drooling is very disquieting to me. And then there are months when it doesn't occur at all. So, and there are so many things that I can do now that I couldn't do 2, 3, 4 years ago. And things keep shifting. And my trainer has a wonderful line that I try to say every day. Why would you expect every day to be the same? That's not human. That's not the human experience. Your emotions are different at every moment. So when they're difficult, I go like, this is a really crappy moment, but it probably will be different in the near future. And then remind myself of the recent moments that things were good. So it's not linear progressive, it's non-linear, and it provides opportunity for challenge and victory.
Well, we just talked about not linear and being in the moment, which I feel like is a really good entree into the breath work, because that really brings you right away into the moment.
Thanks so much. Yeah, I like to sort of on the tail of what these gentlemen were saying, I like to think that the world might control what happens around me. I may have little influence over that, but I control what happens there. And that determines my outlook. And I believe that Parkinson's is just a disorder. And it is curable. 8% of the Parkinson's cases in the world are cured, are reversed, or just dissolved, or whatever. With the advent of these new medications and the new science and research that's always happened, it is a really exciting field. This will one day be a curable. So we'll start with, breath work, So if anyone wants to leave right now, this would be a good time to leave or get whatever you need to, because it's going to be 5 minutes of sort of explaining to you the basis of the breath that we'll be working on, and then 5 minutes on first. So I'll give you a sneak peek first, and then the science, brief science. I can talk about breath for days. It's so incredible. And then we'll get into that short breath work practice together. So we're going to start with the sneak peek. Thank you. And with that, I'll take one hand up and put it in front of your face. And we're going to sort of take an inhale, and with an open mouth, I'm going to exhale the hand. When you exhale, I want you to imagine it's a mirror, and you're fogging up the mirror. Great. So that sigh that came out is instrumental and pivotal point of the breath practice with Larry's day. Now we're going to be doing it again. This time we're going to extend that exhale as long as possible. You feel deep in your lungs. Push. Every. So remember that, because that will come into play later on. So I'm going to make this as brief and succinct as I can. Breath is a very powerful tool that we use to ramp up our nervous system, get us excited, or stressed. Or we can use it to relax our system. And the breath happens to be the only part of the nervous system we can spontaneously control and use in our attention. So we breathe all day. We go through
emotions and stuff like that, but we never really think about what's happening to our breath. And while I've been sitting here on the stage today, I've been thinking about my breath. But I've been sort of working it so that I can like remain consistent. So the problem with this is that most people in today's stressed out world, especially people with Parkinson's, breathe the top 2/3 of their lungs, which means that we're not really fully breathing. Not just all of our lung space, not using our tone. And so when that happens, our diaphragm, which is the muscle that's close to the lung, becomes stiff. And it may only, usually it moves up and down with the breath. But it may only centimeter or two, very stiff fashion, which means we're not able to take those. We only get access to the top part of our lungs. And the top part of our lungs are associated with the fight or flight response. Fight or flight means if you're probably chest breathing, the rattle short. It so happens that there's a greater concentration of nerve endings in the upper lobes of the lungs that are associated with flight response. So the ones at the bottom of the lungs are associated with it's like critical that we access that area. So critical that we exhale because breath, when we're breathing, besides the mechanics of it, breathing in, taking in the energy, we're taking it in. And we have to let it go to exhale and work that. So, so when the diaphragm becomes thick, it indicates the brain by the vagus nerve. The vagus nerve is a whole other subject. It indicates to the brain that things are not really working good and or fully or in a healthy manner. And that in turn sends all the neurotransmitters and everything out to the body. It says, hey, we're not in a good state of not a good state of mind. So when we begin to access the lower lobes of the lungs, then you start to access that first dimensions. The diaphragm begins to move more freely and generously up and down. It can move as much as 10 centimeters. That's a big difference. And then the diaphragm is moving generously. It's warming up, gently massaging the inner organs. That's an increasing circulation to those organs, which in turn increases their benefit and their function. So, with generous movement, right in the vagus nerve, it sends the message to the brain that or work up fine, everything is just fine. And the brain then will send out nervous system response that manages. So, this is the thing. How do we access those lower lobes of the lung when we're stuck in this stressful chest breathing? That's what I call the cul-de-sac of stress. Because we're stuck in this pattern of breathing and stressful. And it's like a cul-de-sac because you keep going around in this stressful breathing. More stress. Oh, the way out, you see it. No, there's only one way to control this. And you can't access it because you're stuck. So, when this happens, use the exhale for a benefit. So, when we exhale, our heart rate naturally slows down. Just a little bit. When we inhale, the heart rate speeds up just a little if we want to find relief from those stressful situations, but we're stressed, all we have to do is lean into the exhales. Extend the exhale. Put your focus on the exhale and fully exhale. Like we did with the body of the mirror. Fully exhale until you can feel it in your belly. That's when that empty feeling is really engaged, beginning to engage with the diaphragm and allow the breath to access the lower lobes into the rest and digest state. So, today we'll be and this breath is called cyclical breath. So when we're stressed, any of us, all of us, and hopefully coming away from that stress limit, we stop naturally without even thinking. Really stop once. So where's the better? So when we repeatedly, that's when the benefits start to happen. So this cyclical cycle essentially is taking in a breath through the nostrils, exhaling it out of the mouth, and we'll release these breaths gradually. So the exhale will essentially become twice as long as the inhale. So again, lengthening and slowing down your exhale on the audible side. We're creating a whole sort of set the stage for entering into that restful, calm, digestive state of nervous system. So we're going to move into breath practice. So music on, and while the music is going to be turned on, this is going to be about 5 minutes. If anyone wants to leave again, this is a good time. I'll do what I have to do. So in this practice, we're going to continually inhale through the nostrils and exhale out of the mouth. Exhale out of the mouth. We still have that breathy sigh as long as you can. We're going to bring the lips to like slightly parted but relaxed lips. So as if you create a little bit of resistance to the exhale. And also in this practice, I will be adding a count into it. Now, my count is just a framework for your count, your breath work. Because ultimately, all of our bodies are different lung places. So it actually stresses me out when someone else is doing breath work and they're counting it out. I'm off count. Yeah. And so it's important to know that this is very important for you to find your breath work and to release. That means you're not doing anything wrong. So we want to go into that mindset of positivity and yourself. So with that, we'll go ahead and get started. Getting comfortable in this. We're going to tune in with self. So we'll change it. Allowing your eyelids to fall gently. If that does not feel safe for you, you can bring it to a very soft gaze downward. The point here is to try to eliminate visual stimuli as we turn to sleep. Giving yourself permission. So as we begin to turn down on the outside stimuli, we're constantly battling, dropping down out of the thinking mind, Narrow into the heart space. Feeling the space. Connecting with that place within you. Reaching your heart muscle. And imagining yourself loud, every week. Allowing your shallow mind to change. Practice. Heart, giving little space between. Will allow the tongue amongst it. Softening your shoulders, allowing your shoulders to the first minute. Sit down and line up. Where does your body sleep? Where does your body receive? And when you exhale, where does that exhale come within your body? Exhaling, letting it all out. Now we'll begin to inhale, bringing our awareness up to our crown, imagining that our crown is tethered to the sky above us, lifting us to fall. As we inhale. And as we exhale, allowing the breath to descend out from your body, grounding and growing. Breath right up through your nose. Exhale on one stream. More time for inhale. Exhaling it all out, letting it go. Do that one more time, once. And then bring out the slight one heart in position. Exhale for as long as we can. Entering into a different space. Inhale, one, exhale, forward. One, in, one, out, forward. In, continue this rhythm of your breath. Your sigh is essentially twice as long as the inhale. Noticing your belly emptying. Noticing you. Allowing yourself to be absorbed. All the rhythm of the sounds. As your breath fills the lower lobes of the accessing slow to exhale. Just one more breath. Your diaphragm moves generously. And then massaging and warming the abdominal organs. Supporting digestion, respiration, circulation, universe, and movement. As the vagus nerve sends a message to the brain that in turn sends the message to the entire body that you are well, that you can rest and find peace in your body. Remaining with your eyes closed for a few seconds more. Noticing your physical body and perhaps it's changed since the beginning of our breath, just 2-3 minutes ago. And noticing also your energy body, your energy before the practice, and your energy now. You've taken control of your nervous system. Congratulations. As you return to the natural everyday breath, opening your eyes. Namaste. Thank you so much. I feel like the energy in the room just totally shifted, and I feel like this is actually a great thing to do before we move into a journaling exercise, because sometimes when we journal, we're so much in our head, which is a great way to release things as well. But sometimes actually calming the system before you journal is also really beautiful. And for me, journaling is more than a reflection. And I hope to share something with you. Sometimes, I'm going to give you some prompts and some questions to journal with. Sometimes it's nice to use a prompt and sometimes it's nice just to free write. So, and sometimes, you don't have to just physically write, you can draw something, you can move something to express yourself. So, even though journaling might be physically writing, it doesn't necessarily need to be. It just kind of opens up that space for expression. I actually feel like journaling is a kind of a questing. And really, what is a quest? It's a journey of opening one's heart, it's exploration. And, we spoke about wholeheartedness before. So it's a way of kind of getting inside oneself for more growth and clarity, and also really a deeper connection with oneself. Like we just had, the breath is one way, but sometimes, not everybody has that space to do that or wants to do that, or their mind might be racing. So journaling is another way to bring light and clarity to oneself. So I decided I have a few prompts, and I figured that we would work from those prompts if everybody is open and willing. And then I would give each person, we would just have a few minutes in between each prompt so that you can write. I guess everybody has notebooks, right? And pens. So questions also often help us light up our path. When when we are in the mode of inquiry or asking questions, it helps us kind of clarify our journey. Is everyone a paper or pen?
Yeah.
We're just gonna do one exercise.
Oh, okay. So since the time is short,
That's the one.
okay. I'm just gonna say, well, one idea I just wanted to bring you, I guess, I'm into wellness. And we talked a lot about different things about wellness. So I also just thought of the idea of wellness as a big circle. Remember we used to do in school like those Venn diagrams? But I thought of wellness as a big circle. And disease is a piece of wellness. It's like a little circle within the big circle. And so I just wanted to bring you that image. So just two questions, and you can do it now, or you can just write the prompts and do it later. What does wellness mean to me beyond just feeling good? And in what ways does pursuing wellness connect me to something larger than myself? Within that, in what ways would receiving with grace be a healing practice, not only for myself, but for others that offer? Sure. What does wellness mean to me beyond just feeling good? And what ways does pursuing wellness connect me to something larger than myself? What ways would receiving with grace be a healing practice, not only for myself, but those that offer? Another question about the past could be, what wisdom might I gather on this path, even if I didn't choose it? And how do moments of challenge clarify my purpose?
Simone was just saying that it's a little stressful for her to write. So we're gonna send the questions around to everybody, so they can do it on their own time.
I think that's a good idea. So, because we don't really have so much time for questions, so we can,
So, yeah, it's a lot to process.
yeah. Sometimes also with questions, and this is with reflection and requesting. You know, sometimes it's just taking it in and letting it percolate within yourself.
Yeah.
And sometimes it's not having the answers right away. And I feel like that's a big part also of sometimes having a practice of writing. Because, yeah, it's nice to have prompts, but sometimes those prompts are not where you are at that time, at that day. But then other times, you know, you kind of go back to that prompt in your head, even if it's not with you, and it feels right to write about that. And it's trusting that. And I think that, like the breath work, journaling could be another way of like really hearing oneself and trusting oneself. And for me, that is a major part of wellness.
Does anybody on the panel wanna answer or add their own thoughts to that, or anybody in the audience?
First line was the prompt is, wellness is falling into bed and going to sleep right away.
Yes, that's a good.
I find I have a difficult time looking at a blank page. I need to fill it out. I need to say something about myself, about my world, and go from there. It's amazing how your wording leads to another thought and another thought. And it's a great way to begin the process.
Another thing that's just really interesting when you're writing, even if you're free writing, something I learned from this proprioceptive writing is to also get into your mind is to say, well, what do I mean by this? Because it gets you sometimes to deeper layers.
I'd like to share something.
What I. Okay, what I wrote came spontaneous. Lots of times I find it difficult to hold a journal and everything, it almost puts me in my head. But what I wrote came from the experience of the moment with everyone. And it was a culmination of what this meant to me. So I will read it because it's from everybody here and the experience. So wellness is being connected to myself, sharing with others in kindness and heart. And that came from my experience being with all of you.
Thank you so much. I feel like that is a great way to finish. Have a more appropriate. It's so beautiful. Thank you.
Somebody needs to take this microphone from me.
Yeah, I don't see some. Thank you. Thank you all again for being here and sharing with us.
I think we just came to a closure, right? For this amazing afternoon. What's that? That's right. Yeah. So I just want to thank everybody who's here. And I want to thank this incredible panel because you really gave of yourselves. And you're all incredible, deep searchers, and we all need to hear your stories because it helps all of us. It really does. Thank you. So thank you.
Thank you.